The impeachment of the president. I'm Adrienne Pedersen, today on Upfront.
It's a hoax. It's a hoax. Everybody knows that. It's a complete hoax.
We need a full, fair, and honest trial.
Next, Wisconsin Democratic Senator Tammy Baldwin on key questions in the impeachment trial. Will the Senate call witnesses? Will Americans see new evidence, and how will she vote? Plus, the court-ordered purge of Wisconsin voter rolls.
I was found individually in contempt.
No, that's not true.
Excuse me, the court order says I am held in contempt.
Well, I think you should check with our legal counsel.
Today, two state elections commissioners, one Republican and one Democrat, argue the case and why it's so important.
Taking on the issues important to Wisconsin. This is Upfront with your host, Adrienne Pedersen.
Thank you for joining us. We begin today with President Trump's impeachment trial. It starts Tuesday. House managers last week formally presented the two articles of impeachment to the Senate. Chief Justice John Roberts will preside over the trial. Then he administered an oath to all senators who will serve as jurors to do impartial justice according to the Constitution. It's a big historic moment, and we're talking about it today with Wisconsin's Democratic U.S. Senator Tammy Baldwin. Thank you for being here.
My pleasure. Thank you.
We have a big week coming up. That impeachment trial set to begin Tuesday. What are you thinking it will look like?
Well, I have to say that first day with the formalities, the Chief Justice presenting himself, taking an oath, and then in turn having us take a second oath. You know, we all take an oath on the first day we're sworn in to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. This is like an oath that a juror might take, but we pledge to do impartial justice. So Tuesday, the trial begins in earnest, but there's many things that have yet to be determined. One of those is whether we will be able to hear from live witnesses.
I'm interested in that. Do you think that'll happen?
You know, I'm certainly hopeful. If you think of a trial, you think of witnesses and evidence and documents. We have called for 4 witnesses who are relevant to the subject matter of the impeachment and who have firsthand knowledge. We've asked for former National Security Advisor John Bolton, who called what was going on a drug deal. We called for 2 senior White House staffers, both of whom have firsthand knowledge about the president withholding congressionally approved military aid to Ukraine. And then we've called for the acting chief of staff, Mick Mulvaney, to be a witness because he's an eyewitness to so much of the conduct that is at the center of the abuse of power and obstruction.
Do you think Republicans will let them speak?
Well, I'm heartened by a handful of my Republican colleagues expressing an openness to hearing from witnesses. You know, to me, it should be just an obvious thing that one does every other impeachment trial that the Senate has ever had, including those for other federal officials aside from the 2 presidential impeachments. All of them have included witnesses and the ability for senators to ask questions through the Chief Justice to get to the full facts. That's what we need, is we need a full, fair, and honest trial.
I want to play a quick clip for you from Speaker Pelosi, something she said last week, and then I'll get your reaction. So let's watch this here.
He has been held accountable. He has been impeached. He's been impeached forever. They can never erase that.
She said something along the same lines several times, that now this is in history. He's been impeached. It's on the record. Is that enough for you, or do you want conviction and removal?
You know, I want to do impartial justice, as I have just sworn this past week to do. And so I'm going to watch this trial unfold. We'll start with arguments from both the managers that were sent over to prosecute this from the House. But we've yet to hear the president's case, even though he was offered the opportunity, afforded the opportunity to present witnesses and cross-examine the witnesses who did appear in the impeachment inquiry. I want to hear all of that, and then I'll make my decision.
So I'm hearing you right that you're saying your mind is not made up yet.
Well, I've only heard half the case, if you will. I'm surprised that the president, if he thinks it was a perfect phone call that he had with President Zelensky, as he said many times and tweeted just yesterday, that then he should come in and explain why and present witnesses with firsthand knowledge that will help him make his case. If he believes that, why doesn't he? Why has he not participated? And that's what I hope he'll answer.
I think some of the pushback that would come from Republicans is that according to the latest Marquette Law School poll, most Wisconsinites say they still don't want President Trump removed from office. You're representing the state of Wisconsin. So how do you justify going forward with an impeachment trial?
Several reasons. First of all, this isn't a matter of polling. We just took an oath to do impartial justice on a trial that has yet to have its initial arguments presented. And I hope that the Wisconsin people and the American people will be watching and watching closely, and that regardless of whether their judgment changes, I took an oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States, and I just took an oath as a juror to do impartial justice, and I'm going to do just that.
Something that just came out last week, according to the Government Accountability Office,
Yes.
They're saying President Trump's hold on security assistance to Ukraine was illegal.
Illegal.
How will that make a difference in the trial?
Well, it's sort of late-breaking news, but on Thursday, we saw the Government Accountability Office report. They have studied this question very carefully, and it is illegal to withhold congressionally approved aid. It violates federal law. And if you recall, earlier in this set of events, 2 high-ranking government officials resigned from their jobs rather than participate in this illegal activity. It was very notable. We haven't heard much from them, but if they were willing to give up a career, having worked that long at their jobs because they believed they were being asked to break the law, it just adds to the seriousness of all of this conduct.
Senator Baldwin, I know you're headed back to Washington, so thank you for your time.
Thank you.
My interview with Senator Baldwin continues now on our website. We'll talk more about impeachment, the new USMCA trade agreement, and I'll ask if she's going to endorse in the presidential primary. That's on the Upfront section of WISN.com. Next, that controversial case over state voter rules. Will tens of thousands of voters be removed? 2 state elections commissioners are here to debate the issue, and you'll see why the commission is deadlocked.